Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, viewers of all ages, we interrupt this regular review schedule with some really saddening news concerning a couple of artists who have played a very huge part of my childhood, who have transcended the flesh. I'm, of course, talking about actor and comedian Jack Riley, who was very, very well known for his vocal portrayal of Stu Pickles from Rugrats, and opera singer or spinto soprano Daniela Desi, who was very well known in singing a huge array of roles from different genres of opera. I want to start off with Jack Riley because he was a gentleman who played such a major part, not only in the world of animation, thanks to his portrayal of Stu Pickles from Rugrats, but also someone who played a very huge part of my childhood ever since I was a 7-year-old boy who was not so familiar with the world of Rugrats until I played this really fine game from PlayStation 1 entitled In Search for Reptar. As I stated before in my review of Rugrats and my look back of In Search for Reptar, this very video game was my gateway, my introduction to the world of Rugrats. And this was not only thanks to E.G. Daily as Tommy, Christine Cavanaugh as Chucky, Cheryl Chase as Angelica, Kath Soucie as Phil and Lil, Melanie Chardoff as Dee Dee, but it was also in huge thanks to Jack Riley as Stu Pickles. He had a very distinctive and very fine tuned and very deep voice, which was definitely perfect for delivering such very fine deadpan lines. And he really knew how to use sarcasm to the best of his abilities. I was not so familiar with his work as a comedian, even though people who've grown up in the 70s and the 80s were very familiar of his portrayal as Elliot from the Bob Newhart show. And before making this video, I did see a clip on YouTube where Jack Riley's character came in as this clown, and when he was brought into court, he managed to give off such very wonderful and fine line deliveries, so complete with deadpan sarcasm. Now, if there is one thing that really makes Mr. Riley of any great distinction, that is his great sense of really knowing how to use deadpan sarcasm to the best of his abilities. And he did a very, very wonderful job, and most notably as Stu Pickles from Rugrats. Yes, he was also a great character actor who was very well known in a lot of mostly comedic movies and a lot of sitcoms, and even this butter commercial, which was very well known throughout time. And he was definitely someone who played a huge part in not only my childhood, but everyone else's childhoods. I never grew up with Jack Riley as a comedian. I mostly grew up with him when I heard his portrayal of Stu Pickles from the Rugrats. And he was definitely someone who really knew how to give this father figure life, and he really knew how to give him his brand of sarcasm, yet also a great sense of dimension. He really knew how to play the huge gamut of emotions with Stu. And even though I didn't care for Rugrats Go Wild and All Grown Up, I still had to give Mr. Riley a great amount of credit for what he had to offer with these two installments. Yes, those two installments were not my most favorite, but when Jack Riley came along as Stu, he really knew how to really improve the overall quality of those said installments and make it his own. he was definitely someone who knew how to throw himself into this character and really make the best out of Stu Pickles. And it was not only his role of Stu Pickles that he was very well known for, he was also the voice of a lot of minor characters in Rugrats, and also a very, very small role in Recess Schools Out. And he was definitely someone who really knew how to use that voice to the best of his abilities. And I want to end this tribute video on a more positive note, seeing that a few days ago, Rugrats was also celebrating its 25th anniversary. So, Paul Germain, Arlene Klasky, Gabor Chupo, E.G. Daly, Christine Cavanaugh, Nancy Cartwright, Cheryl Chase, Kath Soucie, Michael Bell, David Doyle, Joe Lasky, and especially you, Mr. Riley. Thank you all so much for introducing me to this fine and really wonderful world of the Rugrats, and for really introducing me to Nickelodeon in general, because I don't know where I would have gone if it weren't for you guys and for your characters, and especially you, Mr. Riley. You were definitely someone who was a very great comedian, a very wonderful actor, and someone who really knew how to use that really fine, deadpan snarker voice to the best of his abilities. And more than anything, you're definitely a good person at heart. Granted, I have never met you before, but I could definitely tell that you're definitely someone who has been and will always will be someone that I will definitely look up to, because you're definitely one of my role models, not only in the field of acting, voice acting, and performing in general, but you're definitely someone who was a huge, huge part of my childhood. And for that, I am extremely grateful. So, I hope you enjoyed this video tribute to Jack Riley, and stay tuned much later for my video tribute to Daniele De C. So until then, have a great day, everybody, and Jack Riley, may your awesome and scintillating legacy live on forever in all of our hearts.